expecting Ryu to be able to go head-to-head with them, but you can't just allow him to find solo kill after solo kill after solo kill and take over the game.
Yeah, exactly that. And while things definitely look a little dire for 100 Thieves, given how Invictus have been playing so far in the group stages, we've seen upsets. G2 already has beaten Flashwolves so far in the day. It is the World Championship, and after 100 Thieves found their first win yesterday against G-Rex, well, the one thing that we can say is Sunday is performing well, Rakara seems to be getting into the flow of things and can be a carry, and Afromu, when he gets his hands on things like Thresh, he's able to make those plays. So we'll see how these two stack up as we jump into the draft.
Afromu always been known as a playmaker kind of support. The man with the plan. He does a lot of the shot calling, a lot of the leadership for his teams, and hopefully, if you're a 100 Thieves fan, you'll see him on something similar today, making those similar kinds of plays. As we get into the draft, though, a lot of respect to the top lane from Invictus Gaming, taking out the Aatrox, taking out the Urgot. Those two most popular top laners at Worlds so far will not make an appearance here in this game. 100 Thieves, they want to keep Rookie off of something that can snowball everything from the mid lane. Who knew? Akali banned away, as well as Rakan. Tom Kench will be the final ban in Phase 1 from Invictus.
So nothing too crazy coming out for Invictus. A little surprising that given they're on blue side, they would look to ban away both the Aatrox and the Urgot. But clearly just wanted to take those off the board, see what else is in Sunday's champ pool, maybe even force him onto a tank so that the Shy can have some kind of favorable matchup that he can then look to take advantage of. We'll see as we approach our first pick.
And not only is that a favorable matchup for the Shy, it's a favorable matchup overall, because one of the biggest carry threats on 100 Thieves is then on something that doesn't have as much agency, doesn't have as much autonomy in the game himself, and you will then be relying more on Ryu and Rakara to be carries, as Invictus Gaming will lock in the Kaisa for Jackie Love. First pick of this draft, 100 Thieves. Hovering over the Irelia there for a second. We had already talked about what a crazy win rate the champion had had so far at Worlds. Let's see what they decide to go with overall, though. Thinking about that Varus, they'll pick that up for Rakara.
So they'll get him something pretty safe and solid for the laning phase. Yet to play Varus so far in his competitive year. But it is something that many AD carries are expected to play, and into the Kai'Sa, the range advantage that you have will allow you to generate a lot of pressure. And surprisingly, 100 Thieves going for the Irelia, kind of unconventional for their style. Of course, it can be flexed towards top and mid, but if we assume it's in the mid lane for the time being, this is not a Ryu champion, Flowers.
I want to assume it's going top because it's absolutely not the kind of champion I think of when I think of Ryu. He is not really the star of 100 Thieves. He's not the guy that you look at this lineup and say, yeah, he's going to pop off. This is the dude who's going to make it happen. That's usually more Someday and Afromu. I would expect this to be a Someday pick, but we'll see how it plays out. Invictus Gaming, they're going to pick up the Thresh for themselves, keeping that one away from Afromu as well, and grabbing the Camille.
Now, I'm primarily expecting this to be in the jungle for Invictus Gaming, given that so far during the regular season, it was something that he played a lot of. It was one of his go-to junglers alongside things like Xin Zhao and Gragas. And that's not to say that the Shy obviously can't play it. There's always that flexibility option, but it is something that is comfortable for the IG jungler. And what we saw yesterday was when he gets his hands on a comfort pick, he is very effective in terms of early game playmaking.
We'll see how many plays he can make this time around as Braum is locked in for 100 Thieves. You can see the stats on your screen there. Quite low overall for Braum so far in Worlds. Only 20% of games that he's picked in and doesn't even win half of them.
Yeah, after the HP nerfs that he received over the last couple of patches, he's kind of fell off in terms of priority. Things like the Alistar, Rakan, Tom Kench have really been the top dogs, the big bruises, and he also doesn't offer an engaged tool. And right now, outside of the Varus, this is something that 100 Thieves are lacking, but they are kind of gearing towards the team fighting for the time being. They could still pivot to the split push style if they wanted to. Depending on where this Irelia goes will dictate a lot about how this draft plays out for 100 Thieves.
Worth pointing out that although Braum hasn't been the most popular champion at the World Championship so far, it was one of Afromu's most played picks throughout the regular summer split in the North American LCS, up there with the likes of Alistar, which was banned out earlier by 100 Thieves. Going into the second round of the bans, it's mid lane, mid lane, mid lane, mid lane, mid lane, and some mid lane if you want to switch it up a little bit, as Syndra, Galio, LeBlanc are banned away, and the final one will change things up a bit with IG taking Kindred off the table.
Now, I would kind of expect Anna to go for something like an Olaf, but they may choose to go for a Tillier to make sure that they have a bit of AP damage in their composition, but overall they still need some engage. So maybe they go for something like a Zac, but when you kind of look at Anders' playstyle, that doesn't really fit into it. So instead, they're just going to match with something that maybe not the strongest engage, will definitely kick off a fight.
Oh, definitely so. We'll see if he can get in there early on, make those early game Xin Zhao plays that can be so effective. We actually saw Ning play that champion up against Fnatic and managed to have quite a lot of success with it against them. Maybe, just maybe, 100 Thieves can do the same thing back to IG. Let's see what they want to go about doing here for these remaining picks. Thinking about the mid lane, they were hovering Ryze. Lissandra locked in.
Again, another flex pick. Both the Camille and the Lissandra can go in a multitude of different places, and this final pick for Invictus Gaming will kind of confirm a lot of the direction that IG is going for. They have more than enough damage right now. They could do with a bit of utility and kind of frontline in their composition, unless they kind of focus more on being able to play this 1-3-1 style, or maybe look for a couple more picks. It does seem, though, right now, they are going to grab themselves that frontline.
Frontliner picked up, Sion in the mix. That means Camille's going into the jungle. Sion's likely going into the top lane, although you could have mid lane Sion, top lane Lissandra.
Yes,
that is a possibility. We have to keep that in mind. 100 Thieves.
Triple flex.
Recognizing that, we'll see what they want to do here with that final pick. Remember, we are expecting the Irelia to go, or at least I'm expecting the Irelia to go to someday, which means mid lane Ryu will be on that Ryze, and that is much more akin to what you would expect for him.
Yes. So right now, Rookie is sitting on the Lissandra, Ning is sitting on the Camille, and Shy is sitting on the Sion. So primary damage dealers going to be the jungler and AD carry for the side of Invictus Gaming. Rookie and Shy offering more of a frontline utility setup. It does give them the ability to play on their side lanes with either the Camille or the Lissandra. I'd quite like to see Rookie switching over to a teleport so that he can offer a little bit more map control. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he wants that Ignite so that they have the ability to set up kills in the middle lane. And now that we passed the 20-second mark, it will be Rookie on that Lissandra.
Rookie on Lissandra going up against the Rise of Ryu, one of those champions that he plays a lot more than almost everything else. One of his trademarks, really, and he'll be taking Cleanse onto the Rift this time around, respectably so. There's so much CC on this squad coming out from IG. You got to be able to get away from some of it. Otherwise, an early game ganking champion like Camille that can get into those lanes with the hook shot could spell disaster for 100 Thieves.
And I'm excited for 100 Thieves because this is definitely a bit of a different take. Going much more for the 1-3-1 style, the split pushing of Irelia and Ryze is something that they don't commonly do, or at least they haven't done during the NALCS. When I speak to your NA analysts, often I hear that they like those mid to late game team fights. They like to play around that Baron. Relying much more on Sunday's ability to carry in a side lane seems to be the direction that 100 Thieves are taking against IG.
Sundays on Irelia. If you want to carry a game of League of Legends in the later part of 2018, this is one of the best darn champions you can possibly pick to do it on. And 100 Thieves would really love to find the win here. That would actually tie them up with IG in the standings going into the second round robin, whereas IG is looking to do what Flash Wolves could not do earlier and end their group 3-0 after that first round.
Yes, they certainly are. They want to be alongside RNG, who topped their group, the LPL, yet to lose a game here at the World Championship. But have a look at this creative pathing coming in from Anda.
Find Jackie Love early on there. Over the wall comes the Winter's Bite, but when you've got Baolon hanging around, he can throw the Lantern, get Jackie out of trouble.
But that's a pretty big deal, because in terms of the early laning phase, starting with the Lantern means that IG's bot lane loses a lot of pressure. Thresh not going to really offer anything at the level 1. Will give Rakara and Afromu the early push, the early level 2, and considering Rakara is that new AD carry on the side of 100 Thieves, given that he is the guy that they didn't play with for the vast majority of the regular season, getting that early advantage is definitely a big benefit for him.
But going up against somebody like Jackie Love, your work is cut out for you. He's had some impressive performances so far. In their last game against Fnatic, you can see the numbers there on your screen. 11, 1, and 8 in the KDA department, a part of over 90% of the kills, almost 800 damage per minute. This guy did so much damage in that game, and if he's allowed to run away with this game, you can expect him to do something similar. Definitely a player to watch in this squad.
And Frost described him as the young prodigy LPL AD carry, very young player. I read in an interview that given that all the AD carries in the LPL get to play against Uzi, it's almost like an army of mini Uzis being developed over there. And, you know, you're starting to see it with how their performance has been coming out. Under, suspicious.
Rightfully so. Gets himself into a 1v1 against Ning, but now both top laners going to be heading down here as well. Rookie rotating over first. Means Onda could be in some trouble. Flash already expended. IG on the chase, going forward, looking to find that damage. Someday still only level 1, remember. Onda doing a good job getting himself away. First blood over to 100 Thieves. Two-man stun coming out now as well. Shy's going to be in some trouble. Knocked up into the air, taken right back down. And 100 Thieves will find 2.
Beautiful start for the 100 Thieves. 2 kills in their back pocket. And they go on to the jungler and mid laner. The double buff has been, the red buff has been taken away from Ning. We haven't even got to the second buff.
Fight was too fast, Thaddeus. There was 1 buff.
Oh my word, 100 Thieves kick off this game with a 1,000 gold lead. It could not have gone any better. And Under, he's suspicious. He's like, ooh, I'm not entirely sure about this. The enemy mid laner is roaming up. They're trying to set up a trap. The Shy is coming down as well, but they don't have the crowd control. Under just buying time, but also he's hitting onto Ning as well, meaning he gets low. He's just waiting for these cooldowns. And Sunday's there. Notice how he procs the passive, or the Conqueror rather, and is able to just dish out the damage with a quick flash in from Rio on the back end. With a 3 versus 2 setting up in their favor, and a couple of levels coming through as well, allows 100 Thieves to secure themselves some quick early kills.
The double stun from Someday right on point where it needed to be. That's honestly what I look at the most when I watch Irelia players. It's pretty easy to dash to low health minions and reset your Q. That's not too difficult. Timing the W, yeah, you've got to be able to time it against the CC, but again, I see a lot of people hit those. The stuns. The difference between a good Irelia and a bad Irelia is how well you can line those up. He waited for the right moment, made it happen, and 100 Thieves are off to a great start because of it.
You know, and I heard some fans and even some analysts joking about how 100 Thieves could be the last hope for North America, you know, because expectations coming to this tournament, they'd be bottom in their group. They wouldn't be able to perform. So far in this early game, things are going great, and they just need to hold on to that kind of a lead as Ning now makes his way bottom.
Ning coming bottom as Rakara gets flayed backwards, trying to get himself away.
Oh,
now
no!
Afro flashes out of the way. Rakara now having to try to flash out as well, but the fight could quickly go the other way now as Onda shows up, wants to catch up to Balon, won't be able to find him. It's 1 kill for 0, going the way of IG.
You hate it when it happens. Afromoot, he flashes out of the way of his AD carry. And Baolan is able to find the hook onto Rakara. All the summoner spells are now gone in the bot lane. 100 Thieves, they still hold on to the gold lead for the time being, but Ning doing what he did against Fnatic yesterday. After a rough early start, immediately comes back towards the bot side of the map. The wave is pushing. And note here, keep your eyes on Afro. I'm sure it's instinct, or I don't know what it is, but if he'd soaked up that hook, maybe they could have bought enough time for Under to join the fray and turn this fight in their favor, but you hate to see it. Everyone's had it happen to them once before.
We've all been there. We've all been there, but for the side of 100 Thieves, their AD carry is going to lose a little bit of that early momentum, I guess we'll call it. Still pretty close in terms of farm, but did have to go back to base with a less than optimal buy. Returns to the lane with a Vamp Scepter. The Kaisa having a BF sword means a big advantage there in terms of trading power for Jackie Love as Onda makes his way towards the top part of the map. The Tri-Brush is warded. IG is aware of what 100 Thieves could be up to here. They're going to send Ning into the top side. The Blast Cone was taken. Onda gets himself out of there. Someday goes in, finds himself a decent little trade onto the Shy, gets back out of the Decimating Smash in time right as Ning shows up. Someday's not too worried about this one, still maintaining a very slight CS.
And also, let's look across the entire board because Ryu, one of the players we had some concern around coming into this game, he's going up against Rookie, considered by many to be, at the very least, the best mid laner at this tournament. And thanks to the early first blood that he was able to get in his back pocket, he's sitting on a 500 gold lead right now. He has the level advantage. He's able to push Rookie back in this 1v1, and this is the best case scenario for him. No longer is he in this unfavorable matchup. And If he's able to play one of his most comfortable champions in a side lane, the way in which 100 Thieves will want to execute this composition with the Aurelia and the Rise, they're setting themselves up very nicely for success as they now look for a top lane dive.
Diving onto a Scion can be pretty tricky, but Ryu's coming in now as well with the Realm Warp. Hondo wants to go in there, prevent Shy from getting himself away on that one. Damage goes through, and they manage to find themselves what they were looking for. Hondo barely getting himself away from the turret damage. Shy won't be able to do too much, and Rookie's not in time either.
And again, the Shy is put even further behind. The kill goes down onto the jungler, and while this isn't the best case scenario, it gives him more items. It makes his early game power that much stronger, and it will enable him to keep these ganks up. As while the 100 Thieves bot lane is kind of, they're holding their own considering they fell behind in terms of the early lane. FaZe and Ning still looking to play around JackeyLove and Baolan, the big carry of yesterday, as we move into the 7.5 minute mark.
And I can see why you would want to play around JackeyLove. I mean, the guy has been a big carry for the side of IG, and at the same time, you're looking to put pressure onto Rikara. You're looking to put pressure onto the player at this tournament who has the least experience at the highest competitive level. But yesterday, he did manage to pop off 9-0-9 on that Xayah, managed to have almost 80% kill participation, 900 damage per minute. He was putting down plenty of pain of his own. Still didn't come out of the lane the best, down 7 CS at 15 minutes, but he's showing good signs there and that he can manage to hang on if he can get through the early game all right. But IG's really looking to shut that down. Level 6 available for both bottom laners on IG. Only available for Rikara on the side of 100 Thieves. Afro still needing some more creeps.
Yeah, and I think you described it very nicely. Very little experience, but stepping up for 100 Thieves. We already talked about how there's very little expectations put upon this team, and finding one win against Q-Rex means that not all hope is lost. And even if they lost against Invictus Gaming, there's still a potential to find a win over Fnatic. And it's all about consistency in this group. And right now they hold on to the gold lead. Yes, when you kind of look at scaling, you're still looking at JackeyLove and you're looking at Ning, and you're kind of afraid of what this AD carry can do in the late game. We know how capable of an AD carry JackeyLove is. But for now, 100 Thieves, they're playing towards their game plan. The Rise in a great spot. The Aurelia in a great spot. Under, still primed and ready to throw out more and more ganks as we approach that 10 and 15 minute mark. They need to keep getting these soul laners ahead so they can split up the map and win in a similar way to what we saw from G2.
Ryu trying to get himself away from IG, who go in for the flash into the Hextech ultimatum. JackeyLove's going to be following that one up now as well. Ondo walking a bit too close, likely going to be taken down here too. It's 2 kills going the way of IG.
And 100 Thieves need to recognize that they don't own the bot side of the map. It is JackeyLove and Baolan that had the push. It was Rookie that saw Ryu moving into his own jungle, and all the vision had been set up to allow Ning to steal this buff away. IG, with a very quick punish, find themselves 2 kills.
This seemed so weird to me. Ryu sees Rookie walking up. He's like, okay, I should run away. Then he doesn't even take the blast cone and starts hitting blue.
Yeah, maybe he thinks that they've started it for some reason, but really good setup there from Ning. Immediate follow-up from JackeyLove because the stun lands. And you can see the Afro just trying to get the lantern in for his teammate to get him out of that situation. The frustration on Ryu's face means that now IG come back into this game. They've reclaimed the gold lead. The bot side of the map is definitely swinging in their favor. And more importantly, Rookie has 2 kills in his back pocket. The Proto Belt has been completed, and that solo lane that was going well for Ryu, now not so much.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, especially when, I mean, on the Rise, you're going for the tier first. You want to get that stacking up. Not necessarily a big combat item early on, and Lissandra going for Proto Belt, that's a pretty cheap first item compared to most others in the game. A couple hundred gold lower than a lot of others at least, which means that Rookie's got himself a very nice power spike now compared to what Ryu's able to do, and especially if Ning wants to show up in the mid lane again with Ryu showing that he's vulnerable, showing that he can be taken advantage of if you catch him off guard. It could get scary.
We are also seeing the Aftershock Lissandra come out from Rookie. We saw it coming out from Licorice during the plans, and it seems to be more of a popular shift, while Lissandra goes much more towards the tanky route. And while you can still build burst and damage in your itemization, the fact that you can get those bonus stats, the fact that you can be a little bit tankier in terms of the late game team fights is very valuable.
You can see Rookie going in, taking advantage of that Aftershock right now. Clem's coming out from Ryu to keep him alive and get him away, but just barely. Man, Rookie's scary.
And even on Lissandra, where a matchup that it's not super favorable is close to finding a solo kill onto Ryu. Speaks leaps and bounds to the skill of this individual as Ning now hangs around the bot side of the map.
Speaking about leaps and bounds, Ning wants to jump right into this lane, go after Rakara and Aphromoo yet again. Hextech ultimatum, ready to be issued. Chains of Corruption fired off too early, and there comes Jackie Love. Rakara is out of the picture immediately. TP channeled by 100 Thieves, but it has to be canceled. Aphromoo is left for dead, and Jackie grabs 2.
And Ning does what he did to Fnatic and attempts to shut down the bot lane of 100 Thieves. A beautiful gank is set up by Ning, given that 100 Thieves just don't have the vision control. Jackie Love now secures himself 2 kills, and they will find themselves first tower of the game.
When you talk about IG, you think about individual talent and you think about a bloodlust, a desire to play aggressive and find these plays, and this showcases both.
And the problem for 100 Thieves is they don't respect the lack of vision in the bot side of the map. Ning, I don't know if I can call that a sidestep, because his E was going to a set point, and unfortunately for Rakara, he just misses the ulti, meaning that without that additional bit of CC, even with the flash, it's not enough to escape from the IG jungler. And this man has been on form, setting up his bot lane for so many kills. He did it against Fnatic, he's doing it again today.
Yeah, Ning's having a hell of a tournament. He did it against Fnatic in the opening game that IG played in the group stage as well. He played the Zac and really had a phenomenal performance on that one.
Yes.
He's just been doing so much work in the jungle, and even with this game, starting off as poorly as it did in that top river with the 2 kills going the way of 100 Thieves, he just instantly bounced back. Said, all right, a little bit of a speed bump, no worries. We got the spare tire already ready to go. We're going bottom lane. We're getting this started down there instead, and now he's 1-1-3 on the Camille.
And that's what I love about LPL junglers, and that's kind of why Vitality remind me of LPL players sometimes, just because even if they fall behind, they still look for plays. They're still very proactive. They're always looking for opportunities, lanes to play around, enemies to punish, and Ning is one of the best examples of a jungler that is sometimes feast and famine. Maybe when he shouldn't look for ganks, he still tries to make them happen anyway, and he gets punished for it, but so far in group stages, it has worked out fantastically. It seems that the Western teams just aren't quite used to this level of aggression.
Well, IG, I wouldn't expect to have any plans of pumping the brakes anytime soon. There's no reason to. They're up 2,000 gold. They're up 1 turret. They've got their bottom lane rotated in towards mid lane that 100 Thieves now has to answer. Ryu's hanging out topside along with Rookie being rotated up there now as Someday and the Shy will be set up here in bottom lane. Shy went for Thornmail before anything else this game, wanting to try to shut down Someday a little bit in the 1v1, but Someday's still winning by about 25 CS down there. It is the only part of the map that 100 Thieves are in control of.
Yep, and that's simply because Someday has now moved down there. 100 Thieves will look to trade the Drake for the Rift Herald, given that IG had swapped their bot lane actually over to mid, and they'd moved Rookie to the top side of the map. Realm Warp comes through.
All right, it's not quite a Drake trade play. Instead, they're looking to make the dive onto the Shy. The 3-man collapse to go after him. Ryu's going to be the one soaking the aggro for now. Flashes out to make sure he doesn't get killed off by the passive from Sion, as Rift Herald is summoned up here in the mid lane, and the push comes in from IG to take turret number 2.
I like the fact that 100 Thieves are able to find themselves another kill, but IG quick to respond. They convert it into 2 towers because Rookie was still pushing in the top lane. They had the Rift Herald, and the gold still goes in the favor of IG as they look for another one.
IG is just building this lead with no signs of stopping. Balon and Jackie Love not afraid of anything. Now going to be making the aggressive move onto the 100 Thieves players. Rakara just can't find these chains, and it will likely have dire consequences yet again. Balon's going fishing, and he caught 2 big ones. It's 5 members of IG breaking into the base at 16 minutes. Ning's gonna drop, but Ryu and Anda are going with them. A double kill over to Jackie Love, and someday it's not your day today. IG's gonna manage to kill everyone else. Jackie continues going forward. He finds himself the ace. He's still gonna live through it. They're still gonna break that base open. It's not even 17 minutes, Vedius.
And IG dismantle 100 Thieves. They had the Rift Herald in the mid lane. They showed absolutely no fear as they set up a tower dive so early on into the game. It all starts with this hook from Battleland. He chunks out Afro move, but then with Ryu showing up and the TP just soaking up time, waiting for the tower to go down. It was a good ulti from Afro, but then this hook from Battleland. Flash into the Flay as well to lock in the bot lane of 100 Thieves. In all of this, the Rift Herald is still alive, and IG are just like, focus on 100 Thieves, don't let them take it, let's get the tower. You know what? Let's add some kills as well. Sunday doing what he can, but he's a 1 versus 4. And he's only just barely able to protect his inhibitor.
Coming into this game, I was gonna say that although IG are looking very strong so far, I think the one part of the game that you would look at as vulnerable if you're 100 Thieves would be the mid game for the team. Even in their victory yesterday against Fnatic, IG had a couple shaky moments during the mid game where they got really aggressive in the enemy jungle and things could have gone the other way around, but this time around, I'm not seeing that shakiness when they can break the base at 16 minutes. It just seems like this team is strictly on a mission, and 100 Thieves is totally struggling to have any sort of an answer.
And we talked about Jackie Love at the beginning of this game. There have been 10 kills, and he has been involved in every single one of them.
As has Baolan.
Along with his support, yes. This bot lane, again, is here to step up and carry this team to victory. And a lot of it is thanks to Ning. He is setting up those plays. Yes, the early deficit did come through, but you just can't underestimate this guy. Jackie Love, Frost graded him as the 3rd best AD carry so far at the World Championship. And you can kind of see why, because you give this man a finger and he will take your whole arm.
The lane inhibitor drops 18.5 minutes into this game. And by the way, Rookie's itemization, active item number 2 completed, Zhonya's Hourglass. For those who might have missed the explanation about Aftershock Lissandra, she goes in. She drops her CC with her W. That's 2.5 seconds of insane armor and MR, nearly unkillable. Then she goes into the ulti mode, casts on herself, 2.5 seconds, actually invincible. Then she goes into the stasis, 2.5 seconds, actually invincible. Welcome to Why Can't I Kill This Damn Popsicle Woman? And the answer is, this build makes it so hard to drop aggro onto her and keep it there at all. Rookie is going to feel so comfortable going into the Thieves' lines and disrupting everything.
100 Thieves, even if they had a fire type, they wouldn't be able to melt through those kinds of defenses. Rookie is extremely strong right now, and you will see him diving onto the backline alongside the Shy, who really hasn't been the talking point at all of this game.
No.
All been about Jackie Love. He was put on Scion duty. IG continuing with this. The Baron hasn't even spawned yet, Flowers.
No reason to go for something if it's not even there. Instead, IG, it's a 5-man death ball in the bottom lane. The chains finally connect from Akara, but only onto the enemy tank. 100 Thieves will do their best trying to defend here, but Ning's already found the kill onto the enemy AD carry, keeping himself alive for now with a stasis damage. Still going to be piling in. Rookie grabbing the kill onto Baolon, going into stasis himself. Nearly taken down, but not going to be falling yet here today. Ryu will likely drop at the very end of the fight, and IG grabs a triple onto their mid laner, losing only their jungle. They're onto the Nexus turrets. And in what I believe is the fastest game so far, barely 20 minutes on the clock, they're at the throats of 100 Thieves. They're at the Nexus itself, and IG will go up 3-0 at the end of the first round robin.
Obliteration. That's all you can
That's an
think.
understatement.
Oh my word. Invictus Gaming looked so good after the first 3 minutes of the game.
I mean, when you can have that top lane fight go as bad as it did, using summoner spells, coming up 0-2, and then just instant mental reset. It's like the thing from Men in Black where they wipe your memory and they say, all right, have a nice day. They mental reset themselves and immediately just played the game as if it never happened. This team is ferocious.
The LPL now 8-0. EDG will be going up against KT at the very end of the day to see if the LPL can get that 9-0 scoreline and match the all-time Korean record of 9-0 coming out of groups. The LPL have looked insanely, and you know, I was optimistic for 100 Thieves.